Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are test driving a 2024 Kia K5 GT line. This is a front-wheel drive GT line. The GT line, of course, being the only K5 that is available with all-wheel drive as an option. But this particular car is front-wheel drive, and I must say it is a very nice car to drive. It's got to be real close to the top of kind of the mid-size sedans before you get into the bigger engines as far as fun to drive. This has the 1.6 liter turbo with 190 horsepower, 8-speed automatic transmission, very peppy engine. You really never feel any turbo lag with this motor. It's very responsive at all speeds. The 8-speed automatic is also extremely responsive, very smooth and very quick shifts. It almost feels like a dual clutch automatic in operation, but it isn't. It's just a regular 8-speed torque converter automatic. For people who despise CVT transmissions, this may be a very excellent choice for you because Kia does not offer one across the K5 line. This is just the GT line model, so it just kind of gives you the sportier appearance. If you go with the full-on GT Kia K5, then you will get the larger 2.5 liter turbo engine with 290 horsepower and a genuine dual clutch transmission. Also 8 gears in that one, but it's a different design of transmission than you get in the smaller engine K5s. I have experienced that powertrain in a Hyundai Sonata N-Line, and it's fantastic. But even this smaller turbo is peppy enough to be fun, and I really like the steering in this car. It's got some decent weight to it. It's almost like it's got some feel. One of my major complaints with pretty much any modern car with electric power steering is you don't have a ton of road feel as far as where you are with the limits of grip, etc., etc. But this one's weighty enough to feel all right. Currently doing 60 miles an hour on a decent road. So that'll give you an idea for refinement. I've driven this car on the freeway. I've been driving it for a couple of days. I have found the wind noise to be relatively hushed. You do get some tire noise, especially at higher speeds on the freeway, but nothing too obtrusive. Let's play with the semi-automatic. Yeah, the 8-speed gearbox really does snap those shifts off quickly. It's an engaging car to drive. It's better than it needs to be as far as the mid-sized sedan is concerned. I've driven the newest version of the Honda Accord. I actually prefer the way that this drives. I think it is a little bit more fun to drive. The Accord that I drove was a hybrid, so that, you know, this being a GT line Sonata, not a hybrid, maybe it's just a little bit more engaging, but I think I would actually, if I was going to buy a mid-sized sedan and I was between those two, I think I would prefer this to an Accord. I would choose it over a Camry. Gosh, it might come down to this versus the Sonata for me, to be honest. Not that I'm in the market for any of these cars, but this is, if you're considering a Camry, an Accord, a Nissan Altima, whatever, you definitely need to check this out because, yeah, you could pick it apart a little bit. The pricing looks pretty nice, and there's a few features it's missing. It doesn't have a big digital dash. You know, it doesn't have wireless Apple CarPlay. It doesn't have vents in the back seat for the back seat passengers, but the car looks really nice and it drives really nice. And you know, there are a lot of other features that it has that do make it a decent value. You've got built-in factory navigation system. This one has the GT line premium package, so it's got the smart cruise control, the highway driving assist, all the modern safety features, blind spot monitors, etc., etc. I have done a full review on this car, which I'll put a link to in the description. Brake pedal feels good. I do need to use it following this first generation Honda HR-V, which is one of the slowest modern cars I've ever driven. Thankfully, I'm not driving it now, and thankfully he's gonna get out of my way. What a thoughtful person. See, there's some of that tire noise that I was talking about. This road is not that great though. We'll give it a little bit of gas. Lane departure warning. A little bit of wind noise. I'm doing 80, but not obtrusive. And I'm going to slow down for this construction vehicle here. But it just picks up speed just like that. Didn't go anywhere near full throttle on that. Just gave it a little bit of gas. 1.6 liter turbo, just pushed it right along. Like I said, a lot of fun to drive, decent power, even without going with the full-on 2.5 liter. Let's see. Let's go for a pass. Full throttle. No issues whatsoever. Engine sounds pretty good at higher revs. You know, this is another common complaint I have with a lot of modern cars is you just can't hear that it's a turbo. There's no wastegate noise. You don't hear any, you know, manufacturers hide that, I think, with modern cars, because this is definitely a mass market automobile. It's not, even though it's a GT line, it's not really marketed to somebody who's got the mechanical knowledge to understand, oh, the reason why it makes that little whooshing noise is because it has a turbocharger, and that's what happens when the wastegate opens, which occurs during gear shifts to alleviate the turbo boost pressure, and then when you accelerate through the next gear, the exhaust gases spin one end of the turbine so that it can compress intake air. People don't know that who are buying this car. So they just think, oh my God, there's something wrong with the car, it's making a funny noise. So car companies are all going with smaller displacement turbo engines compared to what they would have used 10, 20 years ago, because they work better on the EPA rating system. But they have to sort of hide the fact that it's a turbo, other than writing turbo on top of the plastic engine cover. But they don't really want people to know that it's a turbo. From the driver's seat, anyway. And they have done a very good job of hiding it. I have to say, it doesn't sound like a turbo. It doesn't even really necessarily feel like a turbo, only because there's no turbo lag. The throttle response is very linear. The 8-speed transmission, I'm sure, plays a big part in that. You know, keeping the engine kind of in the boost so that you always have good responsiveness. But yeah, this is genuinely a nice car to drive, and well worth the effort to go check it out. Of course, the K5 was previously known as the Kia Optima, which was not a great name for a car. You could maybe argue K5 is also not a great name for a car, but somehow I like it better than Altima. Or excuse me, Optima. Well, I like it better than Altima too. Altima, Optima, Camry, Accord, like all these names, I don't know, they just sound all focus groupy to me. I don't like them. But this is a nice car to drive, and I am very happy that I got the chance to drive it. I hope you do too someday, and if you drive it, I hope you like it. If you do have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments. You can comment about how I shake the steering wheel so much when I drive. I don't have an explanation for that, it's just a thing. And give me a like, subscribe to my channel, etc., etc. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.